everyone. Welcome to Ops on Cloud. In today's video, let's try to discuss about a real-time project use case. So this use case is there, right? You can practice on your own, or else if you want to explain your project in interviews, right? Even in such scenarios, also you can use this specific lecture. All right, so basically today what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take an example from a supply chain use case. So let's assume you have an automotive company where they want to do some kind of file transfer. Okay, so that is what is all this project is all about. All right, so it's mainly like the business to business file transfers are there, right? So that is what we will discuss further. So before going into this project, we will have to discuss about some important terminologies. So let's try to understand that. So the first one is EDI, electronic data interchange. What are these documents? EDI documents. So EDI documents are digital documents which is used to exchange business information between two trading partners in standardized electronic format. Okay, so they replace traditional paper-based documents. They help us to streamline the exchange of data like purchase orders, invoices, shipping notice, and other business communication. In simple words, right? If there is, let's assume there is this TVS and there is a vendor for TVS, and TVS does a order or sends an invoice, or if they do some part purchasing, right? So they need to share some kind of documents. Correct. So this business to business document sharing, whatever we call it as, so this is a standardized way of doing that. That we call it as like EDI. Okay, electronic data interchange without using any paper or something like that. All right. And what is AS2? AS2 means it is just a protocol. Okay, it is like applicability statement 2, which means it's just a protocol which is used for secure, reliable, and standardized communication between business to business data over internet. Okay, it is widely used in exchange of EDI documents such as purchase orders, invoices, shipping notice, and between trading partners. All right, so what does AS2 means? It is just a protocol which defines the security for the EDI documents that we earlier discussed. Okay, and then we have AWS transfer family. AWS transfer family, it is a managed service from Amazon. Okay, so it helps us in providing the secure file transfer capabilities using some of the common protocols like SFTP, FTPS, FTP, and AS2. Okay, so since all these automotive sectors or this manufacturing sectors, when they try to do the file transfer in the EDI format, right, they generally use AS2. Okay, and Amazon inherently in their AWS transfer family, they helps them to use AS2 directly, so they don't have to do the setup of AS2 server, all those things. I mean, Amazon transfer family will give that as a service for us. Okay, and the last one is MDN, message disposition notification. So it is a digitally signed acknowledgement that is sent in response to successful received of processed AS2 messages. It basically acts like a receipt which will confirm that the recipient's AS2 server has received the message, decrypted it, and validated the integrity. MDMs are critical part of AS2 protocol, which will ensure the reliable and secure communication between the trading partners. So you are working in a company and you send a document from your company to a trading partner. All right. So how do you know that the trading partner has actually received it? You need a confirmation for that. That is where MDN comes into picture. All right. So now let's try to discuss about our use case. All right. So what is a business challenge? Okay. What was the business challenge? So we have a supply chain company. All right. So they have been providing supply chain management services. So basically, this is your company. So your company in the sense the company you are working. Assume that. Okay, they provide supply chain management services Okay, and they have clients from automotive sector, consumer goods, defense, utility sectors all over the globe. Okay, over the time, many of their customers in manufacturing space, they required a compliant driven approach to exchange these EDI documents. The EDI means the electronic documents which we discussed earlier. All right. So specifically, they need AS2 protocol because that is the standard transfer of documents over the internet. That is the protocol which they use while transferring these documents. Okay, so now for many organizations, right? So let's assume like your organization or our organization in this case is specifically focused on supply chain management business. Okay, so for them, maintaining an on-premise infrastructure, maintaining the complex firewalls and certificate management, making sure that things are highly available and failover capabilities are there, handling partner onboarding, keeping up with the license cost, all these things are tedious. In short, it's lot of overhead, especially when you need to exchange documents at scale. All right. So now, let's try to discuss. Okay, well, why basically why AWS and why these transfer families for AS2. Okay, the reason behind that is why we are going with AWS transfer families. Uh, the the operational data, whatever is there, right? So the first use case is the operational data. It's already there in AWS environment in our company. We already have everything in AWS environment, so it will be easy for us to use AWS transfer family and integrate things within the same ecosystem. That is the first thing why we selected for AWS transfer family. And then AWS will also give us managed service for AS2, which will automatically handle the high availability, scalability, and security compliance, everything. And also, if some customer, if they don't want to use AS2, right? So what we can do is we can still build APIs or webhooks on AWS and then integrate them. Basically, we can build customized solution for other customers as well. So the reason why we are going with AWS is transfer family is because it already supports multiple file transfer protocols, SFTP, FTP, all these things. Okay, and also since AS2 is a B2B staple for EDI documents, right? In Amazon transfer family, it's already there as a fully managed service for EDI documents. Okay, so and also as you already know, AWS is more towards this pay as you go model. That is again it will be very nice for us. All right, so typically how it works is you have a certificate, you have this inbound transfer inbound, so which happens all in AWS transfer family, and then you have local profiles where again you have a certificate for authentication. You send a outbound request from this TVS is an example. Oh, okay. You can assume this is your supply chain company, okay, and you can replace with your company names for example, whatever the supply chain company you are working in, and then you send an outbound traffic. It gets certificate, it gets validated, and this cycle is there, right? It keeps on going and going and going forever. Okay, this is the typical use case, and this is how it works actually. All right. So now let's try to understand in detail. Okay, let's try to break down the main components and then we will try to understand this solution. Okay, so now what happens is we have this on-premise ES2 server. Okay, and this belongs to the partner. Okay, or our customer. Okay, it is configured to send. Basically, this is configured to send or receive encrypted EDI documents over HTTP or HTTPS protocol. All right, and also we have internet gateway here. Okay, this acts basically the partner's IT team is there, right? This IT team is there, right? So they will whitelist the elastic IP address used by the AWS transfer family. Okay, to make sure there is a secure communication through this firewall. Okay, and then what we are supposed to do is we are using this AWS transfer family AS2 configurations here. Okay, this is where the inbound documents land. Okay, and the outbound documents get sent. The inbound and outbound traffic is there, right? Within our application, inside our supply chain organization, the inbound and outbound document flow that happens through AWS transfer family. And AWS transfer family is there, right? That will make sure that there is encryption, there is signing in, there is partner certificate validation, all these things are happening. All right. And then we are also using S3 bucket. So why we are using S3 bucket? We need to store the inbound and outbound EDI documents. So that is where S3 bucket comes into picture here, if you see. Okay. So all our inbound and outbound documents are there, right? Whatever the flow happens, all these documents are kept inside an S3 bucket. And we also use AWS Lambda function. Why we are using AWS Lambda function? Because we need to automate the business logic as well. So one function will handle all the inbound traffic or inbound documents. So which, for example, uh, if you are trying to book a truck, right? So you can tell that that specific logic has been built on top of Node.js. Okay, and we have another logic which is like outbound traffic, sorry, outbound documents. So for that specific logic as their right business logic, we are using Python based logic for sending the updates. Okay, and also we are using AWS CloudWatch. Okay, this is basically a centralized place for real-time auditing, logging for files, file transactions, and also we are also capturing the MDN acknowledgements, the one which we discussed earlier. Okay, so if you notice here, right, there is a synergy between AWS transfer family, S3 bucket, Lambda, and CloudWatch, which these are the services which are basically forming the backbone of the EDI solution that we are trying to build. Okay, let's try to go one step ahead. Okay, let's try to go in deeper. So we will discuss about the inbound traffic flow now. Okay, so now what happens in inbound traffic flow? Okay, if you see here, we have the end customer. Okay, we have the end customer. So what they do is the customer, they might be a manufacturer. Okay, and they need to book a truck now. Okay, and they prepare these EDI documents, and we can simply call it as like sample test ED1 EDI document or something. And this EDI document will have details like pickup date, the source location, the destination, everything. And the customers on premise, see here, the customers on premise ES2 server will send the EDI through an encrypted HTTPS payload. Okay, and basically this will get routed through the internet. Okay, and it will hit the AWS transfer family. All, okay, this is the AWS transfer family endpoint. Okay, and then because the IP addresses are whitelisted, right, the communication becomes secure. All right. Once AWS transfer family here, once it will receive the EDI, right, it will write the document to the S3 bucket in this process. And also it performs all the decryption and and it also verifies the digital signature so that we know that the file has not been tampered, which is very important. All right. And then we have this MDN notification which will be generated. Okay, so basically basically we are telling that okay, whatever the document our customer has shared with us, we need to tell them that yeah, I have received it. So through MDN, so we are sending the response to them here. All right, so and this MDN response is there, right, that will be shared with the customer's AS2 server. So now again we have CloudWatch. Okay, CloudWatch will capture every step of the exchange. Okay, and tomorrow if you want to do some kind of compliance or auditing, everything is there in CloudWatch. You can simply come and you can verify those things. And in the meanwhile, we also have this Lambda function that will trigger. Basically, that will trigger based on the document which has been written in the S3 bucket. All right. So And this lambda function, as we already discussed, it has some node.js logic, okay? So which will parse the EDI content. For example, it will validate the booking details, okay? It will log the data to the systems for recording, okay? And it might also trigger a next steps in the supply chain process, okay? But when you explain your projects to someone, right? So you don't have to go that deep, because I don't think so in any interviews you will have so much of time as well. Okay, so yeah, but for your own practice purpose, you can try to build and as the surrounding solutions or add-ons on top of this solution. Okay, and now let's go and let's try to discuss about the outbound flow. How outbound flow works. So in outbound flow, what happens is outbound flow. So it starts from your company, the supply chain company. Okay, so basically we will send the updates like the truck allocation, the delivery confirmation, and also we will upload the respective EDI documents in the S3 bucket. If you see here in this S3 bucket, it will be there. Okay, and then we have this lambda function. This lambda function is written using Python, and this lambda function will watch for the documents. Okay, once it sees a new file, it will process that EDI and it will call the AS2 outbound connectors. Okay, you see, we have AS2 outbound. This is part of AWS transfer family setup itself, and it will push the document to the customer's on-premise AS2 server. Again, AWS transfer family is there, right? It will encrypt, okay? It will and signs, and it will send the file over HTTPS. And the receiver's partner server is there, right? They can confirm the authenticity, okay, through the certificate that have been exchanged. Now, the partner server is there, right? What they are supposed to do, what is that acknowledgement is called as MDM, right? The one which we did earlier. So now, earlier that was sent from our end. Now it will be sent from the customer's end, because they are the receivers here. They should tell us that yes, I have received your document. Okay, so now what happens is the partner server will respond to the MDN, and that will be logged back in our CloudWatch. Okay, and this MDN makes sure that the customer has also has the proof of acceptance. And this cycle, whatever we discussed, right, the inbound and outbound cycle is there, right, that will continue seamlessly for every message, and the acknowledgement is captured for every messages. We can also archive it, so that like for the old messages also, like for full traceability, we can simply keep it if you want based on your organization requirement. So now, what are the benefits of this specific solution? Okay, so in real time, what happens is many manufacturing and automotive clients, they actually need EDI documents, EDI over AS2. Okay, so now let's assume you want like 10 different. You when you started your company, you have one customer who came and asked for this specific solution. Okay, since it is already there in AWS and you have already done the setup, you might have written a Terraform template or something like that, right? And now what happens? There is a second customer who will come asking for the same solution. Your company can simply replicate it so quickly that the solutions are already in place for the requesting customers. Okay, and also scaling this solution based on the customer's requirement is also very easy since it is hosted in AWS. And the licensing cost, like all these things and all are there, right? You don't have to worry. All right. So that is the benefit. In real world, let's assume any supply chain company or any company, right? So basically, the receiving of the purchase order from big automotive clients, and sending the invoice after confirming the order, notifying them about the status, validating, they're validating things. All these are like very seamless in this specific process. And also, since most of the business logic is being triggered or handled in Lambda, it's more like serverless architecture, and you will be charged only for the execution time. So that is also an advantage in this specific use case. All right, and most important of all, this specific solution, whatever we discussed, right, it is also future proof. Why it is future proof? Because see, the certificates can be rotated with very minimal downtime. All right, and also You can also bring in another services like AWS Event Bridge, where you can automate the notifications, and also you can implement this AWS B2B data interchange if they want to transform the ADI formats automatically. Okay, and also you can simply build a very robust disaster recovery high availability setup based on the customers. I mean, like the cost or the business things, whatever is there, right? So it becomes very easy. All right. So that's how basically a supply chain because a company can build a secured, scalable, and compliant B2B file transfer platforms on AWS. Okay. In this specific video, what we have covered is the business challenge of EDI compliance and why we choose AWS transfer family, the inbound and outbound workflows, and how Lambda and S3 tie up all together, and also the benefits and the real world usage scenarios also. Okay, you can easily explain this as a project in any of your interviews. Okay, I would suggest like watch this video 2 to 3 times, make notes. Okay, try to understand these diagrams that I have explained. It gives you a very good insight. Okay, and this is one of the real time use case. It has been done in TVS SES organization, and the reference of this video is from AWS blog. I'll also try to post the blog link as well. You can simply go and read from that AWS blog. Yeah, I mean, like if you already know certain concepts, all those things. So here I just try to simplify as much as possible. So if you are a fresher or if you are someone who is trying to showcase some experience and get into IT, right? And if you want if you need any help, so this video should be a very good starter point for you to explain a project, a real world project for a DevOps engineer, for a developer, for a software engineering positions very easily. Okay. So if you find this video helpful, please make sure to subscribe to Ops on Cloud and make sure you like this video. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to post a comment. Okay, so that I'll definitely go through the comment, and if it is a reasonable or if it is a sensible comment, then definitely I will make sure that I will get it clarified or get it done. Okay, so signing off for now, then see you in the next video. Bye bye.